Welcome back to the Mafuba Jar. We've been sealed away for another awesome deck profile. And today, guys, in that poll I made the other day, you all have spoken. So, the first deck profile is going to be the competitive version of the Surge Goku. And then later on this week, it's going to be the competitive Piccolo Surge that I built for you guys. So, as you guys can remember, my last deck profile was based on him, but it was more of a fun version of it. Like, it was a theme towards the whole Battle of Gods saga with like Super Saiyan God Goku and all that bit of a theme that we got in set 8. But now we're going a bit more competitive here. One thing I am going to discuss before I get into the deck profile, for those of you who may have already noticed, there is no Draft Box 4 cards in here whatsoever. So, I have a lot of issues when it comes to Draft Box 4 and their prices. So, when it comes to my deck profiles, I try to keep Draft Box 4 involvement as limited as I can. I know I'll have some things here and there that do have Draft Box 4 stuff, but I'll try to come up with budget options for it as well. But to me, and I'm not going to go on about this because that's a whole other video in itself I can make, but to me, it's becoming a real problem in the game. So I'm trying to do my best here to give you guys competitive stuff and not have to spend over $1,000 on it. So that's my reasoning for that, in case any of you are wondering. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and get straight into it. So for those of you who didn't see the last deck profile, first of all, I highly recommend you do. It's a really fun deck, and it's, as I said, it's all Battle of Gods themed. But a quick reminder of what the leader card does. He does count for both blue and yellow. He is among the new Surge leaders that we got, along with the Piccolo Gohan. And his auto on his unawakened side states that when he attacks, you draw 2 cards, then you get to discard a card from your hand. It's any card. It could be a battle card, field, extra, whatever. So that's really, really awesome, and that does open up a lot of plays. And his awakened Surge is that you pick a red card and a yellow card from your hand, place them underneath him, draw 3 cards, restand one of your energy, and you get to go ahead and flip them over here to Super Saiyan God Goku, Surge of Divinity. Now, he does not have an auto to where he draws when he attacks. He has an activate main / battle, which is a once per turn. If your life's at 5 or less, you get to take one of the cards underneath him, detach it, and then you can activate one of these effects. You could either choose all of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and negate their skills for the turn, or you could have your leader gain 10k and critical for the duration of the turn. So it's really, really awesome. And the fact that you could activate this at any point in the game is really, really powerful. But I kind of like how they did it like this. So you can only really get their busted effects up to twice, and that's it. Because effects like these, you don't need to be doing every single turn. That'd be way too busted. So it is a good way of like balancing out the Surge leaders, therefore not completely eclipsing any other leader. So I think that was pretty well done on their parts. As I said, I love the artwork on this. It's so gorgeous on both of them. Like, as far as artwork goes on leader cards, this has to be one of my favorites yet, because it's just so amazingly done. Alright guys, and with that does it for the leader discussion. Now we're going to go into the main deck itself here. And some cards here, for those of you who did watch my previous deck profile, some of them are still here. Like the whole familial bonds thing, that is still involved because that's just so great. Being able to choose a red sand in your drop area, 3 costs or less, 15k power or less, and be able to play it for 2 is really, really good. Not to mention you're searching for 2 Dragon Balls, which is the 4-star balls. That part did not change whatsoever. It's still really, really good. I do have a few new targets for familial bonds though. I am going to be running the 4 copies of Digging Deep Vegeta. Very, very good card. When he attacks, you can pick up to 2 of your life, add them to your hand, and he gains 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. So he's essentially a dual attack, which is very, very good. 3 costs is a little high, but as I said, familial bonds, you're all good. Plus, you've got the 4-star balls to boost them up even further, which even just one 4-star ball after you do this puts him at 25,000 power. Why is that important? Because he meets the requirement for your Super Saiyan 4 Goku Heartfelt Plea. So triple strike, offering, very good. And the auto is, for those of you who don't know, you pick a card, a battle card that you have that has 25,000 power or more, put it in the drop area, and when you activate Awaken on your leader, if it's not already in play, you get to go ahead and play it. So, along with the Beerus, which is what most people use, the Vegeta with the 4-star ball is also an acceptable target for it. So it gives you a lot more options for your Heartfelt Plea, which is a really, really dumb card. So, 4-star ball, I should probably have mentioned this quickly. It's pretty standard, but in case anyone who doesn't know, it's activate battle, you choose up to 20 battle cards or leaders, and it gains 5k for the duration of the battle. And it has another effect which doesn't apply to us, but if it's a skillless battle card that you're choosing, it gains 10,000 power instead. So, it's really meant for skillless, but it works here just as fine. And as I said, we are also running the Beerus No Holds Bar as well as the Vegeta, just because it is another target, not to mention it is very, very good. It being an arrival, you get to choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with 30,000 power or less, KO it during either player's turn, so that's really cool. And you get to choose either a battle card or leader card in rest mode on your opponent's side, ignoring barrier, and it can't restand until the start of your next main phase. So, really good for studying the field. He is a little bit pricey. I'd say he's about $20 a piece. If you're not able to get this, I would just focus mainly on the Digging Deep Vegeta with the 4-star ball, and I would just replace these with any other red or yellow card. Let me see. Possibly you could still put in the 3-drop Super Saiyan God Goku Divinity one. I know it was kind of something I put in last time as a theme, but it really isn't a bad card. It's critical, offering, so it's still pretty dang good. Or you could replace these with one of the Goku GT searchers to be able to search your Heartfelt Plea and your Pans as well. So just a couple options out there if you're not able to afford this card. And speaking about affordability, it's kind of out of an order here, but I want to go over it. It is going to be the Baby Janemba Secret Rare that we got from set 8. Now, I'm going to go over it and talk about how it's good, but I am going to give you guys some budget options in case this is a little bit out of your price range. So he does have offering, and his activate main for 2 red and 3 yellow, it's completely stupid. His activate main is your opponent may choose 3 cards from their life and place them in their drop area. If they do, you place the card from hand in your drop area, so you don't get to play it, but they crit 3 life. Otherwise, you may play this card from your hand and you choose up to one of your opponent's leader cards, and it gains minus 3,000 power for the duration of the turn. I don't know why Dragon Ball's got me saying it gains minus. Like, to me, that's not right, but I've read it so much that it's just become a force of habit for me to say. So, yeah. It's a very, very nasty card. But, as I said, I do know that he can be a little bit out there, and in case this is out of price range, a perfect replacement for this would be the Frieza Secret Rare that we got from Clash of Fates. And that's, last I checked, which was yesterday at time of recording, which reality it is literally yesterday, it was only at like maybe $40. So far more affordable than this, if you even want to include a Secret Rare. If you don't have the budget for this and the Beerus, you could just add a complete playset of something else entirely, because everything else here is rather affordable. This would be the only other expensive card. He's like maybe 10 to 11 a piece. Not really too bad. Pan's about 8 a piece, if that. I see Pan fluctuate a little bit here and there. Overall, these aren't too bad to get, but those are your options in case these 4 in particular are a bit out of your price range. So with those cards out of the way, I do want to go over the other battle cards here. We are going to be running, of course, the Fearless Pant here, because in this deck, it's so good. It's a blocker with barrier, and when you play this card, you choose all your other red battle cards and your leader card, and they all gain 5k power and double strike for the duration of the turn. So your leader here, should you choose for the critical option, this becomes a 30k double strike crit, and I said that twice. Like, I can't just that much double crit on just the leader alone, and that's not including anything you combo with. So that is just crazy. Not to mention doing that when you have Almighty Resistance out and ready, being able to counter their counter attack. So it's essentially a battering laser, but specifically for counterattacking rather than just counter anything. So it's a bit more balanced, and the fact that it costs 2, I have no problem with this card. It's a more balanced version of the battering laser, which we did need. So very much plus with that. It's just a nasty combo to go on with your opponent when you're trying to go for the game. Because having out the Fearless Pan along with your Heartfelt Plea and your Super Saiyan God Goku at 30k double crit, it's just, ugh. I do not want to be against that ever, especially if they have the energy for an Almighty Resistance. Like, I'll just be like, crying. I cry, because that's so horrible. And along with this pan, we are also going to be running the Great Ape Whisperer pan. So only one of these can be played, and the auto is if your life is at 2 or less when your leader card activates Awakened, you may play this from your hand. You're rarely going to pull off this auto because there's not very much reason to go ahead and Awaken when you're only at 2 life left. If you want to do it that way, there's nothing stopping you from doing that. It's just not something I would think to do often, but we do have other ways around this. And honestly, even hard casting the full 3 for what she does isn't bad. Which is that on her activate mana, you choose up to one of your yellow battle cards, switch it to active mode, and you negate the skill for the duration of the game. So if you're able to already get this guy out for free, and you have to hard cast 3 for the pan, get this guy out for free and hard cast 3 for pan. That's not a bad thing because you're giving yourself a 30k minimum triple strike with dual attack. Like, that's stupid. If I only got paid 3 energy for that, that's amazing. But if that's not something you want to do, we do run Grand Tour Spaceship. And what this does is that you look at your top 7 for a Trunks GT, Goku GT, Pan, or a Giru, I guess, with 15k power or less, and you get to go ahead and play it. So that covers the Fearless Pan, that covers Pan the Great Ape Whisperer, and that also covers our Super Saiyan 4 Goku Prideful Hero. So he has Barrier and Heroic, which we're not going to worry about that, because only one of these Super Saiyan 4 Gokus can be played at a time, and those are the only 2 Heroic cards we run. So we're not worried about Heroic at all. His auto is when your leader card activates Awaken or Wish, this card gains 20k power and double strike for the duration of the turn. So if you're able to get out your Pan, Great Ape Whisperer, and you can't get out the Heartfelt Plea, but you are able to have this out, giving this the dual attack ain't bad either. Because what would that be? A 35 double strike dual attack. That's still pretty good. So you have options with the Great Ape Whisperer. You definitely have options. And not to mention, aside from the pan stuff, we are also be playing our battle card counterplays. It can be 2 Mach Speed Kaioken Goku and 2 Champa the Trickster. They both have a permanent saying that if there's a multicolor energy in your energy area, you get to go ahead and reduce the cost by 1, which all these have it. These 2, the Gohan, the Vegeta, all have it. So, for what the Goku does is that if you play this card, you choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, and it gets minus 10k for the duration of the turn. Then if it's your opponent's turn, you get to choose one of your opponent's battle cards and it gains minus 5k for the duration of the turn. So you can put both of those minuses on one card, you could spread it out. It's pretty cool. And the fact that there's no energy cost limits to what he can do, he can just go ahead and minus 15 on anything, or minus 10 on one, minus 5 on another, to help deal with the low drops. That's really, really good. Not to mention he becomes a 15k attacker, and if he still sticks around when you play Fearless Pan, that's a 20k double strike right there. For only 2 energy that you spend, so that's really awesome. And with Champa the Trickster, what he does is that when you play this card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring Barrier, switch to rest mode, and you get to go ahead and draw a card if it's your opponent's turn. So, very, very powerful, both of these right here. They both have their cool situations to where they can just decimate your opponent. Very, very nice. Alright guys, you're almost done hearing me talk. One of the last things I want to go over, with the last profile, I did keep the Battle to the Death, because I still think this is such a busted card. Sorry about that. If your leader card is yellow, You get to choose up to 3 cards from your life, add them to your hand, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, and it gains minus 25 for the duration of the turn, and it ignores barrier. And keep in mind, the 3 life, it says up to 3, so you could choose 3, 2, 1, you could choose 0, and still get that effect. And to me, for 2 energy, that's cheap for something like that. That's just busted. Because there is a lot of barrier out in the game now, so being able to do that, to just not only gain yourself a lot of cards in hand from your life, but to deal with a potential very big problem on the board on your opponent's side, that's really, really awesome. Alright, so along with Battle to the Death, I am also running 2 copies of Revenge Final Flash. Being able to counterplay, lets you draw a card, and then your opponent has the option to pitch an extra card from their hand. And if they don't do this, the battle card being played has its skills negated for the duration of the turn. So it's essentially a bit more of a balanced out Cold Bloodlust, but it is technically a generic one because there's no limit on your leader. You just have to have the red and yellow energy. I almost said blue. I don't know why. So very, very powerful card. And depending on the deck that you're going up against, they may not have that extra card to pitch a lot of the time. So a lot of times against those certain decks, it's a Cold Bloodlust that lets you draw a card. So very, very powerful. And of course, I am obviously running the 4 Wii Spectator here for our energy. But if you do have to end up playing the Whis, he's by far not the worst one out of the ignoring energy exhaust cards to play. Because when you play him, you get to choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and negate skills for the duration of turn. There are far worse cards to be playing in the Whis, honestly. Like, in a cleft situation, he's really not bad at all. So, don't exactly count him out as just an energy card and nothing else. Because, I mean, yeah, that is his big purpose, but he can come in handy sometimes. And next up is the obvious 2 things are negates here. I am going to be running 4 copies of Time Magic. You can make these there's a lot of things you could choose with these instead. You can make, after image technique, you could do Is That All You Got? You could do Flying Nimbus. Like, you have a lot of options. I just personally really like Time Magic. Being able to choose one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier, and it's stuck that way. It deals with Android 21 really well. Anything with like dual, triple attack, height of mastery, deals with that very, very well. And it has the Sparking 5 permanent that you can take a life instead of paying an energy. So even if you get nuked with Android 21, as long as you got those cards in your drop, boom, you still got it. And also the Divine Crybeerus super combo. I just prefer Sparking when it comes to a deck like this that does a lot of discarding. But really, if you want to do like, almost any of them are really fine. There's really no preferable option when it comes to these. We don't have a Paragus version for red or yellow yet. So almost anything will do the trick, really. So with that, guys, that is going to be my competitive profile for the Surge Goku deck. And as I said, stick around later this week and you guys are going to get the Piccolo version of it. So guys, if you enjoyed this video today, be sure to smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, like, comment down below. And with that, guys, I hope you all have a fantastic day. See you guys next time, and you've all been released.